It's not legal to terminate someone because they requested an accommodation or because they have a disability. More and more, we're seeing issues where employees need an accommodation in the workplace for a disability, and they're having trouble getting their employer to provide that accommodation. First step is to notify your employer that you need an accommodation. That can be a very simple conversation. It's always better if you put it in writing. I have a disability, and because of my disability, I can't do this X, Y, or Z, or I need this X, Y, or Z in my job. And that will give them the notice that they need to engage with you to figure out how to help you perform your position. After you notify your employer that you have a disability and that you need an accommodation, their responsibility is to engage in an interactive process with you, which means an informal back and forth to discuss what accommodation you might need and how that plays in with your job duties, and to see what accommodation that they can provide to you. Your employer is required to provide a reasonable accommodation, which can vary widely depending on what it is that you're asking and what your job duties are, what the essential functions of your job are. Most importantly to know is they do not have to give you the accommodation that you requested, but they have to try to find an accommodation that still works to accommodate the need that you have. It's very important that if you have a need or you have a disability that impacts your work, you should absolutely communicate that to your employer, because some people don't, because they don't want the employer to know that they have a disabling condition for fear that they will get fired. But then what happens is sometimes they're performing their job maybe at a deficit because they don't have what they need to perform all of the functions, and so then they maybe start to get in trouble because they're tardy or their work isn't getting done quick enough, but really that's related to a disability that they couldn't be accommodated for. And so your employer cannot retaliate against you for requesting an accommodation, and if you can perform the essential functions of the job with an accommodation, then that's your right to do that.